Tiphera is here, so as usual, we will be going over everything about her, cards, partners, teammates, everything. As a controller, she is mostly focused as a support, and she does give a little bit of healing, but for the most part, she is an AP battery similar to Mika. Instead of healing, she provides much more damage boost in the form of multiplicative damage boost. So for units like 9 or Haru, those units will benefit a lot from Tiphera. And one more thing about her is that she has some funny RNG mechanics in her kit that you can either opt out of or opt even harder into if you choose. First things first though, 9 came out right before this, and 9 was another great unit release, and if you're a bit low on crystals for Tiphera, then the best place to get that cheaply is at lootbar.gg. No matter what you're looking to pick up, Lootbar provides it fast, secure, and at a more affordable price, with 24/7 customer service and refunds guaranteed. If you haven't gotten your double crystals yet, buying it on Lootbar can save you up to $30 if it's your first purchase. Lootbar has been providing deals for games for years, giving them over 30,000 reviews on Trustpilot with an average rating of 4.9. New users can currently get 2 coupons for an additional 12% and 8% off their purchases, so make sure to click on the link below and sign up now. So let's take a look at her cards. The first thing to talk about is Archetype cards, because her entire kit kind of revolves around them. She has 3 different cards that she can create. You have Circle, which gives you 1 AP, Triangle, which gives you a damage boost multiplicative, stacking up to 10 times for the next attack card used, and then Square, which draws 1 Archetype card. And there's also the Heal and Shield, but that part doesn't really matter too much. It does kind of matter a little bit, but that is for later. But these are the 3 cards that she will center around, so she can kind of give you AP if you need it, or damage boost if you need it. And the draw isn't for general cards, it's only for her personal Archetype cards. Our first Epiphany card, Quantum Seed. This is her main source of generation, pretty much, for Archetype cards. The first one creates 3 Archetype cards in the draw pile and draws 1 of them. So it's RNG what you're going to get. The 3 cards that you make are completely RNG, you can't control them at all. And then you'll have 2 extra cards in your draw pile for you to fish out later, and she has other cards that help her with drawing besides just Archetype Square. There's not too much to say about this, it's pretty much just her generic generation card. This one, really good because you get to select. So if you want the AP, you can go for AP. If you want the damage boost, you can go for damage boost. Or let's say you copy this card a bunch and your setup needs a little bit of both, you can pick AP, and you can pick a bunch of damage boost. Whatever you need, you get 1 in hand, 1 in your draw pile each. Again, you have other cards to fish it out from your draw pile, so this is really good just because it lets you control the RNG. This one makes you even more RNG. You have draw 1 after using the card, which is pretty sick, but you have to predict which Archetype card will be created. You create 1 card only, and then if you guessed correctly, you get to create the other 2 cards in your draw pile. So this does give you guaranteed 1 of each card, but 33% chance to get it right. This is technically a better version of the first one because draw is more valuable than heal, but it's RNG. A couple of things about this card: if you use Sands of Time, let's say you guess wrong, you can rewind, and then now you know what the card that's going to be created is, and you can play it, pick the right card, and you'll be guaranteed to get it right. Not super practical, but it is pretty funny. And one more thing is, if your deck is, or your hand is completely full and you have 10 cards and you play this card, you won't be able to fit the created card into your hand. Even if you guess correctly, the other 2 cards won't go into your draw pile. This one's just the fun RNG card. I think it's fun doing chaos with this just to spice it up a bit. This one increases the cost, it's 1 cost now. And it's the same effect as the first one, create 3, draw 1, but you activate the retain effect 2 times on 1 random card of this unit in hand. So you can't proc other people's retain cards, it has to be Tiphera's cards. Spore Harvester is what a lot of people are going to think about, but she has 1 other card later on that's actually really good with this. We'll talk about it later, but this card isn't bad, even just without Spore Harvester. Now we have Quantum Seed 5. This is actually not great. There was the way this was described initially was really good, but it just creates 1 Archetype card randomly in your hand and then 1 in your draw pile once per turn when your AP hits 0. Even though it's an upgrade, it thins your deck a little bit. I'd rather have the control from 2. This is not very good. So overall, This one, 3 out of 5, just because it's RNG. There's a chance you can brick. Like, if you make 3 squares, you're pretty sad. This one, 5 out of 5. If you get to control, it's amazing. There's nothing bad to really say about this besides the fact that it only makes 2, I guess, opposed to 3, but being able to control what is definitely worth it. This one doesn't get a rating, it's RNG out of 5. If you hit every single time, or if you use Sands of Time, this is better than the first one, but yeah, probably not really going to be a thing. It is fun, though. This one gets a 4 out of 5, because it's the same effect as the first one, and even though it's 1 cost, this retain effect for the 1 cost is worth it. It'll make more sense once we look at her next card. And then this one is just a 2 out of 5, because I think it's just a lot worse than the second card. Yeah, not great. So her next card, Form Convergence, this is the card that lets her draw her archetype cards. The first one, it draws 3 archetypes and doubles a random effect of those cards for 1 turn. So when it says random effect, this means it can double either the healing or the sustain portion, this one also shields, or it can double the other beneficial effect. So you can either heal like normal amount, draw 2, or you can heal double and draw 1. Obviously, we don't care about the heal and shield. It's a 50-50 whether or not you get the actual useful effect, but it does still draw 3 archetype cards for you. So this one is hard to say it's bad, really. Like, I would just say it's like 4 out of 5. We're gonna say it's a 5 out of 5 because you kind of need it. And then this one, you get to draw 4, and then you select and exhaust 1 card in hand. So this has some obvious synergy with 9, because you can exhaust her hue and it saves you a bit of like time ramping up, especially if you're playing extreme. The upside is, of course, you have 1 extra archetype card that you get to draw. This is really, really nice in the case where you have cards that you can exhaust without any sort of consequence. If you don't, then you would want this first one, just because you'll take the doubling effect over drawing 1 extra card and exhausting like your own archetype card, because that's like a net neutral pretty much. That would basically be a draw 3. So this one's really good, just only in specific circumstances. This is the card that I was talking about earlier that works well with the retain activation, because your retain draws 1 archetype card, and the effect on your actual use is change all archetype cards in hand into a different archetype card. So let's talk about the way this is going to work. For the Quantum Seed 4, you create 3 archetype cards, 2 are in your draw pile, 1 of them is in your hand, and then you activate the retain twice. Then you go back to the Form Convergence, you're going to hit this, you'll draw 2 archetype cards, so pretty much you'll create 3 cards, and you'll draw all 3 of them. And it moves them all into your hand, which is really, really nice. One more thing that you can do is the activation, change all archetype cards in hand into a different archetype card. This, you can't reroll the same one. So even though it's RNG value, you can take all of your squares, because you don't need square. You're already drawing almost all of your archetype cards. There's some other things that change this up a little bit. You can reroll any excess squares that you have into AP and or damage boost, or if you have too much AP, you can reroll your AP ones and hope you hit the damage boost too. This pretty much helps soften some of the RNG, and it lets you draw all of your archetype cards pretty easily. This is just an alternative setup, pretty much. This one here, select and exhaust up to 3 cards from all cards, then draw 1 exhaust card for each exhausted. This is for Kayron. There's not real any way to, like, say this. It's just for Kayron, because it only works, like, there's no one else who can really generate that many cards that you want to be exhausting. This also probably works decent in certain, like, boss fights. If there's a lot of like junk card generation, you can just exhaust those cards too. And then this one, it's just RNG. Like, you draw 1, you have to draw different cards, complete RNG. So overall, this is like, I mean, these are all good. I think these are like, I think these 2 are 5 out of 5. This one I will say is like a 4 out of 5. It's an alternative build. Maybe that build ends up being best. I just prefer the control version, like the controlled version of being able to pick what card you want. This one is just, if you have a card that you want to exhaust, it's going to be really good. Otherwise, the double. And then This one, it's really good in niche situations. I'll also say this is 4 out of 5. And then this one just kind of sucks. It gets a 1. So now we have Creation and Destruction. I think this card is probably the worst card in her deck. So the first one, this is just bad. It's defense, damage, shield, and heal. Harmonization, sure, you get to double the effects if you play it when you have 1 AP, but we don't care about her damage, shield, or really heal that much. So this card just kind of sucks. This one is free damage, technically. Like, you'll be able to reduce it to 0 pretty easily every single turn from playing your archetypes. So it is free damage, and if you want to go DPS Tiphera, then this is probably the card that you want to go for consistency, but it's not great. And then this one, I mean, I don't see what the point of doing this is. You can retain it, and you can get this effect up pretty high to like 1000 damage base almost, but I just don't see the point. And then, mainly because it takes 4 turns. And then this one, it does thin out your deck, and you get a free Creation and Destruction. It's completely for free. It's not horrible, but in the case where you want to thin out your deck, which is almost always, I would probably remove this anyways just to make your first turn a bit lighter. If you have the space for it, then you can use it though. It's free damage. And this one's the funny gambling one, so every single time you exhaust a card, it goes from 1 to 9. If you get it to 9, she can actually play this because she gets so much AP from Archetype. The problem is you do have to, like, roll into the 9, so good luck with that, especially since you have to actually play the archetypes to generate the AP and then hope that you hit a 9 with whatever exhaust cards you have left afterwards. This is very, very funny. Overall, this gets like a 1 out of 5. This is a 2 out of 5, I guess, because you can use it for niche builds. This is a 1 out of 5, 3 out of 5, and this is an RNG out of 5, so it's also just not very good. And then we have Dual Creation. So this is a bit of extra archetype card creation, pretty much. When you create 2 archetype cards, it creates 1 identical card in the discard pile, and notably, it's in your discard pile. So the reason that's significant is because it's your cards can be drawn from your discard pile. They can't be drawn from your used card pile. So even though this moves it to your discard pile, this is the thing with Archetype Square. You can draw it out of your discard pile. So this is one of the uses for Archetype Square, where sometimes you'll create a lot of archetype cards and then you can use Square and pull them out pretty much. Definitely good if you have enough squares to pull them back out, because you have to worry about clogging your deck a little bit otherwise. And this one, when 3 cards are created, create 1 identical card in hand, apply Retain to that card. So this is pretty much, one, it lets you like potentially move AP over to your next... Oh, I should... Wait, I'll talk about for both of these. The way that generation works, it looks like it's kind of random. Like, let's say you play Seed and you create 2 archetype cards. The one that gets duplicated is going to be random. So same thing here, the one that gets duplicated, when you play a 3rd archetype card, doesn't matter what card it is, all 3 can be different. It'll be a random one that gets duplicated, assuming you make 3 at once. If you make like 2 and then you make 1, it'll duplicate the 3rd one. This one puts it directly into your hand, so you don't have to bother fishing it out, but you do get less cards overall. I actually probably should have done this earlier, but there is like a mild bit of math to be done, because if you have to play and potentially generate square cards... Okay, let me think about this for a second. Okay, I kind of like the second one more, because let's say you play 8 cards, right? You have 4 Quantum Seeds, and you generate 8 cards with your selection. You get 4 cards from this, pretty much, and then this one would give you 2 cards plus 2 cards worth of progress. There is your 3rd card. Because you would have to kind of get 2 squares to pull the 2 extra cards anyways, and maybe like, yeah, you'd have to make squares to pull your additional cards anyways. This one, I feel like, because you would make 4, and then you have to, like, pull those cards. This one, it just gets it into your hand, so even though it's less cards overall, I kind of just value this one more because of the, just it goes directly into your hand. But I think these are both fine, it just kind of depends on which one you want. And then this one, when Square is activated, creates a different archetype in your discard, and there's a thing I mentioned where, because Square can pull from your discard pile, this kind of just basically turns all of your squares into a circle or a triangle. So it removes that brick aspect I was talking about, where if you just have a bunch of squares and nothing else, you have to kind of re-roll it, or it's pretty sad. And this makes it so you never have to really worry about that. Especially if you're running RNG decks where you can't control what you're generating and you didn't take the one that lets you re-roll, this is really, really good. Pretty much just makes it so you can't brick. Of course, there's still RNG where you can get too much AP, but we do have Stockpile, which could be useful. So this one's decent in certain situations, I think. This one's not fantastic just because it's a skill, you have to play it. Create one of each archetype card, and then create one of the next archetype card exhausted. So pretty much, you get 3 in your hand, and you get to pick, do I want 2 AP, do I want twice the damage boost, that sort of thing. Unfortunately, it costs 1, so this is going to be, like, it's just too much, I think. I think you can just use your Quantum Seed and do everything for a lot cheaper, especially because you don't need that many squares, probably. And then this one, Dual Creation. When an archetype card is moved to hand, duplicate that card and remove a random effect 5 times per turn. This is extremely funny RNG card. I like that all of her cards have an RNG aspect to it, pretty much. So these two, I think, I'm gonna say this one's like 4 out of 5, just so I don't like it as much. It is nice because you generate a lot of those cards in your discard pile, but I don't like the aspect of being able to, of just putting more cards into your shuffle. If you have the way to draw all of it, though, I think it's probably fine. This one I'm also gonna say is 4 out of 5. I just prefer having it into my hand. This one, 3 out of 5. It has its uses. This one gets a 2 out of 5, and this one is just, it's a 3 out of 5 probably in terms of like actual like usage, but it is really just RNG out of 5 because half of these cards are going to be bricks. You're going to get like only a heal or only a shield. So now we're going to talk about Event Horizon. This has a new unique mechanic, Form Upgrade. While it's in your hand, when an archetype card is activated, increase a random effect by 100% until used. So you can either get more AP, you can get more draw, or more damage boost. Really funny card. You can't control this at all. It'll just pick a random one, and you gotta live with it. So good luck with that. And it does not have Retain, unfortunately, so you do have to kind of play this every single time you draw it. And it doesn't stack while it's not in your hand like some other cards do, which is a bit unfortunate. It is a really good card, though, because, like, the effects are just good no matter what it hits, pretty much. So now, let's talk about her Ego skill. Select and create 1 archetype card the next 3 times Ego skill is used. Create an additional card. I mean, this is just really nice. It just gives you a bunch of AP or a bunch of damage boost, and you also get to decrease the cost of the next Ego skill by 2. There's not too much to say about it. It's just a pretty solid Ego skill. Her basics, remove all of them. You can keep the heal for Chaos. For her card motion, Event Horizon, I think, is easily the best one, because Creation and Destruction is really just not a great card. If you're going DPS Tiphera, I think this goes up in value. Otherwise, it's either an upgrade or a remove. This is an upgrade, so you don't see it as often, but I would do Dual Creation second, Creation and Destruction third, and then these two don't really matter because she doesn't show up in them. Now let's talk about her partner. Her best in slot partner is definitely Tiana, I think. Increases her defense, whatever. When she exhausts 3 cards, it increases the damage amount of the next attack card used by 15%, stacking twice, so up to 30%. And there's no real turn cap on it, it's just a cap on the number of stacks, so you can activate this on multiple cards. Also, if you activate both Shield and Heal through order cards, you get plus 6% crit chance to allies for 1 turn. This does not need to be a single card, which was one thing I was thinking about, so you don't have to use a basic card or a creation instruction to proc it. You can proc it with your 2 archetype cards, 1 heal, 1 shield, and this will activate. The ego skill is also fantastic. You draw 1 exhaust card, and the next 2 cards an ego skill is used, draw 1 exhaust card, decrease the cost of the next ego skill used by 1. So this also ends up working out pretty well with Tiphera's own personal ego skill. They have just all this, they really want you to use ego skills. It's pretty nice. Your alternatives is just the usual healer ones. Like, you can go Alyssa. Alyssa would give you a billion defense, especially if you're going DPS and morale for 1 turn. Or you can go Nyx if you want draw. She has quite a bit of draw in her kit, so she can proc this pretty consistently too. For her potential, it's pretty simple. Honestly, all you really need is this, max out the defense, and get this. Actually, you don't even need this. If you want, you can get this, because this heal and shield and archetype cards, this one's actually not her base cards, or her basic cards, thankfully, so it's actually kind of useful, because you're playing archetype cards no matter what. And then this one is the important one. If your defense is above 300, trivial to hit. You get 10% crit damage to all allies. They give her a crit chance node just for fun if you want DPS, and this actually doesn't matter that much, because it does increase your healing from archetype cards, but you don't have any DPS cards, so it's not that important. I didn't go farther than 7. This one, it decreases your heal by 30%, but you get a 70% shield. Up to you if you want to pick this up. It does proc your partner immediately, I guess. And for her memory fragments, you want the new Glory's Reign set. Increase damage amount of all allies by 5%, stacking 3 times every time you exhaust a skill card, which you do a lot with your archetypes, and you might as well get 12% defense. For some reason, they recommend like crit damage on her. You want ego recovery and defense. She doesn't need that much defense. It's pretty easy to hit 300 requirement, and then after that, I would just go for ego recovery, because so much of her, her ego skill plus Tiana asks you to use ego skills. The ego recovery is really, really nice, and just because she is a support, and we have no attack cards, so damage is pointless, then you kind of want the extra stuff anyways. For her Manifest Ego, this first one is really, really nice. I'm probably going to roll for this. It changes the max stack count of Form Upgrade for the Event Horizon card from 3 to 4. This, just gives you additional effect, and you're going to hit the 4 really easily anyways. Just because these effects are so strong, I think this is definitely probably one of her best ones. This one, when archetype card is activated, gain that card's shape effect. When shape effect stacked to 3, create 1 card consisting of the stacked shape effects. This effect can only be activated once per turn. The shape effect is removed at the end of the turn once it is activated. So they removed the AP. You only get the heal, but you can get extra damage boost, or you can get archetype card draw. The most useful one here is definitely the damage boost, probably. I think this one is also pretty solid. And then for her third one, this one increases the creation count of Archetype Resonance to 3 times, which is her ego skill, and then increases the cost decrease effect. It's just a little bit of an extra bonus. It's 1 extra card, and basically 1 extra ego point is the way to think about it. 1 extra archetype, 1 extra ego point. I think it's okay. This one is just basically more damage boost. It's the order and defense based, so for DPS Tiphera, this is nice, and it also boosts 9 a decent amount. Basic stat upgrade. So damage amount increase effects are changed to not be consumed, and it goes from 30% to 35%, so 350% max. This only applies to her own unique cards, but this basically makes it so that you can run her as a sub DPS, because even if you're buffing up 9 or something, you can play Creation and Destruction 2 for free, and you get the full benefits of the Archetype Triangle stacks. And then your 9 can also use it and deal a billion damage too. So very, very funny, but also very, very far in. So that is it for all of the Tiphera stuff. I mean, for who you should use her with, this unit does so many things. Like, she has AP, she has damage boost. Her multiplicative damage boosts are great with stuff like 9. 9 is going to really, really like it. Haru benefits from it a lot, especially if you're going stacking Anchor and Tower. Some other units that can support her, like Veronica, the basic draw support. Pretty much units that can draw are going to be really, really good with her. So stuff like, you can use Cassius still. He has a good bit of draw, plus he has extra damage boost if you need it. And one other interaction is a unit I don't own, but Kayron is really, really good with her because of her Epiphany that lets her pick 3 cards and exhaust them. You can just exhaust the futility that he generates, and you don't have to pay the cost. So yeah, Tiphera and Kayron is going to have some insane synergy. You're definitely going to see people doing that on Rift. So that is something that we will be seeing later on. That is everything for Tiphera though. Good luck with your rolls.